Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we got to do the end pieces. So this can get kind of hectic inside of your unwrap in Photoshop, and so I'm going to show you a way to kind of create a mask real quick that would help us out. So what we're going to do in here is have the high poly, hide the low poly, have the high poly up. And what we want to do is to come in here and get a material. Let's just make a new material. And we'll call this, this is our end mask. And let's make this kind of a bright color, maybe like I don't know, a bright pink or something. And then on the high poly, let's make it a color. Let's do like a blue. Okay, so this will all turn blue. Now you want to do this on a copy of this, so you want to go ahead and clone this whole thing so that we can always go back in time. Okay, so don't just, start doing this on your final high poly. Let's go ahead and clone it to a new copy. And then we're going to create a layer. And so this is mask high poly. Okay, so this is our duplicate. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and put a material on these ends. Okay, so what we're going to do is go down to the edit poly, and I noticed that this person actually had some remnants in here. These shouldn't be in here. But I'm not going to take the time to mess with that. All right, so what we want to do is to come in here and pick the ends. Now this has to be at the edit poly state. It can't be with a stack. So I only need to pick the end that's exposed. Okay, so I don't need to pick this end. I just need to pick this end. And so then I'm going to apply this end to it. So I'm going to assign that and make that pink. Okay. I'll need to do it on each one of these. So polygon, pick this one, apply the pink to it. There's nothing magical about the color. It could be any color, just as long as there's a big distinctive difference between the colors, so it's easy for us to see. Okay, we're also need to do this down here on this bottom too. All right, I'm going to pause this while I do this. Okay, but before I pause it, I want to cover this. See how all this is in this stack? Okay, I need to collapse it up to here. So you just right click, collapse to, and it'll go ahead and it'll bake all that bottom part out, because it has to be an editable poly in order to be able to put materials on something at a sub-object level. All right, now I'm going to pause it while I do this. Okay, so these are all done. Now I need to do these down here too. Anywhere that we have an end that's showing, because we got to put an end cap on there. So anywhere we have that, we're going to put this pink material, and then we're going to bake a map that'll show that so we can pick that area. Otherwise, it's hard to tell on your low poly where these ends are. Okay, so I've got these all done on the top and on the middle part and the bottom. Now, you would do this on all of these too. Okay, I'm just not going to take the time to do it for this demonstration purposes because I'm just repeating myself. Okay, then we're going to bake this out. So now we're going to come in and we're going to go to our low poly, and I'll need to I'm just going to I can't believe it won't let me. Okay, so I deleted those out of there because I got to put these other ones in. So now, bake to texture, and we're going to do a color, and we're going to pick from a list, and we'll pick all these copies that we put in there. Okay, so color, and okay, so let's name this mask ends, and so I need to reset that and push them out so we can get those. And okay, I need to push it out a little bit further. Okay, so let's bake that out. So bake the texture, and let's bake it. And see, it's going to put these ends on here, which will make it so I can figure out where to put my end caps back in Photoshop. All right, I'm going to pause it while it's finishing rendering. Okay, so I've got it open in Photoshop now, and so I need to drop that on here. Oop, I didn't bake it out full size. You know, I'm not going to rebake this because I'm just going to change the size, and the reason is that I'm not going to actually be putting this, so I don't care if it pixelates a little bit while I'm making it bigger. I don't really care because all I'm doing is finding out where the maps, where these ends are on here. So okay. So everywhere that this is pink, we have to put end caps. I don't need to worry about these little pieces here. Okay, let me lock this so I don't move it. Just the ends. So here, 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 there, here, 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 here. Those are end caps. Okay. So now what we want to do is go over and search for some wooden end caps. So I'm going to do that search real quick. Okay, I've done a research, and here's some reference. Here's some reference for end cuts. I think I'm going to go with this. So So I'm just going to copy this and take it into Photoshop. And we can just paste it on top of here. Okay, so I'm just going to get this piece here, copy it and paste it. Alright, so then where it's going to go is what we're going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and create a smart object with this, is we would take this down. And then what I can do is take my selection. I can select this and then turn this, what did I do? Turn this piece of wood on and then create a mask on it so that it fits inside that area. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to delete that layer mask, and I want to pick that, and I'm going to go ahead and stroke it. Let's go ahead, select, and what we're going to do is modify and expand it. Let's expand it by, what, 2 pixels. No, that's too much. Select, modify, expand by 1 pixel. Okay, and then select the wood and then do a mask on it. There we go. Alright, so that's what we're doing, and so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and where we can see our wood. Okay, and these are going to be end cuts. Now, I need this to be more in line with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another layer. I'm going to sample, say, this color, and then I'm going to select this and then fill it with that color, and then till I get something that's close to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Something like that works pretty good. Okay, so now you need to put that around wherever it's pink, and I would do it too. I'm just trying to do this fast, so I wouldn't use the same one. I might use it in 2-3 places, but because you're going to be spinning it around. But I would use, you know, a couple different ones. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and group this together, and this is a wood end. Okay, so now I can just hold down my Alt key and copy it and put it into these places where it needs to go. And then I can adjust them to fit. Something like that. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to turn this off, and then you'll have your wood on there. So when you bake your wood out, it's going to have these ends in here, okay? And we'll need to do that in all those places, like I said, every place where this is pink. Okay, so now this is ready to go ahead and bake your textural normal map. Now, when I bake the textural normal map, I do not want the grunge layer on. Okay, I'm just trying to get the wood grain. So we don't want our texture layer on. We just want this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and export this as a PNG. And then I'm going to boot up Substance Designer. And we're going to create a textural normal map inside of Substance Designer. So let me put this wood crates. So this is my base color wood. Okay, I'm going to pause while I boot up Substance Designer. Okay, now that I have Substance Designer booted up, we're going to go up here and click New Substance. We want a metal roughness. We're going to give a name here, and I'm just going to call this wood crate. Okay, and you can leave the defaults in here. Okay, so then I'm going to click OK, and it's going to make me a project called wood crate, make me a graph. Okay, when it comes up, it'll be something like this. And for the most part, all we really need to do is look at this area. This is going to be where it's going to pop up. And this is our work area. So what I want to do is to come in here and pull in that wooden PNG that I made. We're just going to drag and drop it in here. And then it's going to give you an option of 2 ways to do this. We want to do it as a linked resource. So we'll go ahead and bring it in that way, and it'll show it here. Okay, we can kind of zoom in to see what's going to happen. All right, so we've got this node. Now, the first thing we need to do is convert this to black and white. So if you pick this, you can hold the space bar. Okay, and what we want to do is just click on the space bar. Be sure you have this highlighted. If you don't have, it's okay if you don't have it highlighted. We're going to go for gray. And we want a grayscale conversion. And we bring it in, they're not connected, then you'll just go here and connect them in. But if you have the node picked when you bring it in, it'll go ahead and connect them for you. All right, this is going to convert this to grayscale, which is what we want. Now we want to be able to adjust the intensity between the white and the black. So I'm going to pick this nose, and then I'm hitting the space bar, and that's going to be a levels. So we want to do levels. And then the levels we want to plug into this normal map. Okay, so we have our original that we baked out. We converted to gray. Now we're going to adjust the contrast with levels, and we got normal here. And if we just go ahead and double click on that, it'll bring the normal up here. And now you can see this is generating us a normal map for the wood grain. Okay. Now, usually if you just bring it straight in like this, it's going to be way too much wood grain. You know, we want subtlety to our wood grain. We don't need, it's not needs to be how big can I see it. Okay, so if you scroll, you can get closer to it, and then center mouse button moves it around. Okay, so now I'm going to click on levels. Don't double click, just single click on it. So it's still showing you this, but I'm getting my controls over here of this. So this is levels, just like in Photoshop, so levels. So this is white on the right, black on the left, and gray in the middle. So there's different ways to do this. The way that I like to do it is I don't like my wood to be continual, deep wood grain. So what I usually do is have it drop out some. So if you grab this white and you start pulling it over, as you pull it over, when you get to a certain point, you'll see that it starts dropping that out. So what I want to do is just drop out a little bit, maybe something in there where it's dropping out just in certain places, but it's keeping in the rest. And so it's a little bit more irregular, which will look a little bit more believable. Now these peaks are too high in here. So if I take the mid level and pull that down, it'll kind of water it down a little bit, but the relationship, it's still a little high in the highest places. And so if I grab this bottom one over here and drag it in, I can get that to set down in there. And so it needs to be pretty subtle. You can always come back and adjust it later, and we can adjust some in Photoshop. So this is pretty much what I wanted. So we got some wood grain in some places and not in the other. And there you go. That's how we create a textural normal map. All right, to get this out of here, go up here where it says Wood Crate. You're going to right click and click Export Outputs. This window is going to come up. I don't need output everything, so just click on Material and deselect this, and then go back and select Normal. By default, it's going to give it the name of whatever this node that I typed in, so it's going to call it Wood Crate underscore normal right here. Default is PNGs. You could do other file formats. PNG is what we're using. It has a little graph here for identifier, and basically what this is saying is name this file whatever this node is named and put base color, not base color, but normal behind it. Okay, then you, like I said, we're going to do PNGs. You can have other file formats, but we're going to do a PNG. And then right here, you can pick where you want it to be saved to. Once I have that, I just hit Export Outputs. It may take a second as it's rendering it. And then it's going to come into come into your folder right here, and then I'm going to bring it into Photoshop. Okay, I'm just going to place it there. Actually, I think what I want to do is make it a new file, so I make sure for sure that its registration is correct. And so now I'm going to pull it over, holding down the Shift key, and it'll go right into place. And then I need to pull this down until I put it in with the other normal maps. Okay, I need to turn off my wood. Okay, so we've got our original cast normal map, and then we're overlaying this on top, and we don't want those wood ends in there. Okay. So to blend this in, it's got to blend down with these others. Okay, you're going to change this blending mode right here to overlay. And then it's overlaying all three color channels, red, green, and blue, and we don't want the blue. So we're going to double click on it and go in here and uncheck blue, only the red and green, which pushes it in and out. That's all we want on here. Now, you really can't make your final decision how much this is until you kind of see it on Sketchfab. But all we have to do to tone it down is go over to opacity and pull this down a little bit. And that'll make it so it's not so in our face. And that's how we generate the textural normal map and blend it in with the geo normal map. Okay, so now let's go to the next thing. Okay, so now the normal map is finished. That's done with that. We need to do our roughness map. Okay, so for our roughness map, what we want to do is we want to go to our base wood, and we want to make a copy of this. So I'm just going to take this folder, which has got all of these woods in here, and I'm just going to make a copy of it. And then I'm going to merge that one. So we need to merge the group. So it's just a file now. And now I'm going to go to image. I'm going to go image adjustments, and we're going to go desaturate, which will make this into a grayscale. So got a grayscale image now, and this is what we're going to use as the basis for our roughness map. White is rough and dull, and black is glossy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put an adjustment layer of levels on this, and I'm going to click on this to make sure it's only adjusting the levels. And then as I bring this over, it's going to bleach some of this out, because what we basically want for the most part is we want a matte piece of wood. Wood's not too shiny, so we want it to be fairly light. Maybe something like this. And then I'm going to pull the mid-tones back in, and that's going to make it more reflective. So we kind of are balancing between these two. So everywhere that this is white, it's going to be dull, and everywhere that's black, like black, it's going to be like a mirror, and then these dark grays will be somewhere in between that we'll see a highlight across it. Now, the other thing is, I'm going to go ahead and make a folder for this. This is our, this is our AO. Also, we want to get our grunge into this, okay, our stain, like here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. There's a copy of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and make these opaque. So let's go normal with this. Same with this one. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing with this, in which that I'm going to go ahead and merge this group together, and then I'm going to put levels on this adjustment, and so I'm going to adjust this down to be more white, maybe push some of the black in a little bit. So anywhere that's white is going to be dull. Anywhere that's darker is going to be glossy. Okay, I kind of like that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this to darken so that I'm overlaying it on top of my other one. So I'm overlaying on top of this. And then let's put this in a folder. And we need to do our this too. Okay, then I'll turn the grunge back on it, and I may pull that down just a little bit. And so this will save this out. This is going to be my roughness map. Okay, there's your roughness map. So it's generated from the final wood, and then laying the grunge on top of it, where I can adjust those separately, you know, of how much I want of this. So like I said, when we bring this in, anywhere that's white, it's going to be matte. Anywhere where you're starting to be gray, it's going to be a little bit reflective, and the darker the gray, the more reflective it is. Okay, that's our roughness map. Okay, we need to generate a metalness map. Okay, and a metalness map, so we go back to our original mask, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a layer, and I'm just going to fill this with a mid-tone gray. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is to go into my material, my object ID, and I want to select the nails. So what we're going to do is select by color range, and I'll pick the nails, and then it'll pick those. And then on this gray layer I made, then go ahead and make a layer mask. And now this is the color of the nails and the mask. Let me copy that. Okay, so I'm going to make another layer. So that's my metal. It's not my metalness, but this is my metal material. And when we save our final wood texture out, that needs to be on it. So our final, let's hide this. So my final base wood, and then this is laying on top of it, and then I'm saving that out. Of course, I'll put my grunge back on it. Okay, and then we need to go ahead. I'm going to hit, I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to fill that with black. And then I'm going to click on this to select it. And then on this, I'm going to fill that with white. And this is my metalness map, which is metal from non-metal, which is the wood. So there's your metalness map. So I've got my normal map finished. I got my base wood finished. I've got my metalness map. I got my metal material to embed into the base color. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we're going to do a little bit of aging to the wood. Okay, so let me hold on while I get this set up. Okay, so the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to go over to Google, and I'm going to search, and I'm looking for rust drips. Okay, something like this would be pretty nice. Let's go ahead and copy that. We'll do a couple of them, but we'll do one here. So let's go over here. Let's make a new file and paste this in it. So what I'm wanting is the rusty part. This top part I don't think I really need. I just want these like this. So I'm just going to kind of come in here and crop this. Okay, now what I want to do is remove everything that's not the rust. So I can go select color range, and I can kind of pick this in here. And then I'm just going to kind of delete that. Now a good thing to do is go ahead and make a layer, put underneath this. And what we want to do is fill this layer with black, so that we can see what's happening in here. So now I'm going to go select color range again, and I want to get a little bit more of this in here, and delete that. And let's get some more color range. I'm just going to grow that a little bit. Delete. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's do it one more time. Let's get like that. All right, so now we just got this showing up. Okay, so like this. Okay, so now we can pull from this. So I'm going to start out by going, okay, I want this section right here. So I'm just going to copy that. And then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to make it rust underneath these nails. So I'm just going to go up here to the top and paste it. Okay. And I think I just want this here, and I'm going to put it right underneath this. And then I'm going to erase so that it kind of matches up to that. And then I'm going to blend it with a multiply. And then I'm just going to turn that down. And that'll seem like we don't want it jumping out our face, like some water's been dripping off of that. And so I can grab, say maybe I'll grab this one this time. So copy, paste. Oops, I didn't copy that one. Okay, come on. Copy it. Paste it. There we go. Okay, make this a multiply. And I'm going to erase out, make sure that's pretty good, and then turn it down. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it to all the nails. Now, the thing that you may not know is which direction. So you may have to do this and then look at it, save this out, put it on your box, because you might have rotated this up that actually this is the bottom and this is the top. And that way we'd have to flip these and they would have to be dripping the other way. You won't know that till you start putting a couple of these in here and then save them and go look. And then you go, okay, it's going the right way, or this is the top and it needs to streak that way. So you want to go in there and you want to add some kind of little drips around the metal that would rust as rain was hitting that. And I think that's it. Okay, at that point, you've got everything done. So you've come back on this second video and you've put the end cuts on. Okay, we've made a mask to make it easy to find where those end cuts will go. Then we put the end cuts in. Then we generated a roughness map from the wood being turned to black and white with level adjustments, and then putting the stain on top of that also. And then coming in here and putting in some rust stains. I'd end up making 2 or 3 of these kind of things. And matter of fact, what I have a tendency to do is I save these into a file. That way, next time I do it, I can just pull them out. And there you go. Then you get all that stuff loaded in. You've got your ambient occlusion in here too, and you can load all that up in Sketchfab, and then you'll be done. Okay. Hopefully this helps you. Thank you.